Hello, my name is Greg George, and I'm an applications engineer with Octane 3D Systems, Geomagic. And today I wanted to make a video talking about the new DX release that has just come out on September 16th. And specifically, I wanted to break down the tiers of Design X and walk through the differences and a little bit of the logic, at least from my perspective, on how we arrived at this product lineup here that we released. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. So, as you can see, you may have seen a little bit of activity on the social media networks out there, but we released Design X uh, September 16th, and many people are very familiar with our product Design X, right? And we, in the past, really it was only one product, and then we dabbled a little bit with Design X Essentials in the past, but now we're kind of repositioning the entire portfolio here and making three tiers to the product line. So Design X isn't going anywhere. We're just calling the full edition that everyone is used to. We're calling that Design X Pro now. So that is the everything all-in-one solution. But the big addition is the other two tiers where we add Plus and Pro, right? So now we're going to have this uh, introductory level Geomagic Design X Go, and then Plus, and then Pro. And one of the key features that I feel with this portfolio is the fact that we've always supported the upgradability of our product lineups in the past with all of our products and our entire portfolio. And this will still be the case here. So, those of you that have never interacted with it in the past, the ability to purchase a product in the reverse engineering category of our product lines, if you have purchased and you desire to upgrade to the next one, there is a trade in value that you get towards the next one. So all is not lost where you're stuck purchasing the other version. You have that ability to do so as long as you're on maintenance and some other things that the sales guys worry about. So if you're in that category, feel free to reach out to whoever it is that you've purchased our products from in the past, and we can work with you on that option where we can upgrade, cross grade, or whatever it is to get you into the current product lineup. So that is a huge feature that we have here. So if you are unsure about entering the reverse engineering world and it's a low risk to purchase Design X Go and try it out, and if you find that you really want the extra features of the others, then you can pay to upgrade and you're not stuck with that one. And that works really well for us. So that is the initial idea here. And then the other thing is we've realized that the market of reverse engineering is really opening up in the world here. And there are users at different levels, people that are just getting into it and seasoned veterans across the board. And just like with any other market, for example, the car market, you have the option to purchase the Toyota Corolla or the next level up from that, the Camry or even a Lexus, right? So almost all industries have this concept of addressing the market at different levels and addressing customers' needs at those levels. So here we have, again, DesignX Go, Plus, and Pro, and these are the tiers. You'll see on the website that we call them plans. I think that's a little confusing, at least in the US market, because really what we're referring to are these are just levels of the same software package, and it's not really plan can be confusing depending on the context. It sounds like you're selling insurance or something. So we will jump into the technical side now. So introducing the tiers, and then moving on into, let's talk about what's in each one. And that's what my goal here in this video is to go into a technical explanation of each level compared to each other. If you are a person that's looking at our portfolio of products, this will kind of help you sort out where you might fall in our product lineup. So to start at the top, in the Home tab, you'll see here, if you're using our software, when you go to the Home tab, you're going to notice some distinctive differences here, where you're going to have less tools in Go and on up the line. But the Home tab, you're going to notice the Run, Scan, Process, the regions, and the wizards are a key difference that you're going to see are in the Pro category here. And I'll unpack those a little more because the Home tab is really a redundant tab with all of the other tool sets. So I will unpack that a little bit more. But the key thing that I want to point out here is the fact that you have in the Home tab the ability to run scan processes, which are like an automated feature. For those of you that have never used those, you can select a bunch of scans and then have it automatically run a script on those. And you can have like, I don't know, 10, 15 different tasks and have it merge them and clean it up and smooth it and decimate it and region group it and even auto surface. So you can run these predefined scripts, and that's really nice. So you'll notice that in there, as well as the auto segment for region group and wizards. But again, I'll address these more in a second. So right on the front end here, the first thing that I want to break down is the live capture or plugins. I just kind of summarize all of it as plugins. And let's talk about the inputs and outputs all together in this area. So Go really doesn't have any plugins. You'll notice that there is a logo there in the live capture ribbon of a handful of scanner types that you can click on, and that really is those triggers. That's kind of what I call them, where it will trigger to open up a scanner company's software and allow you to then use their software to scan, and the moment you hit done, it automatically dumps right back into DesignX. In that drop-down, you will find certain scanners like the Creaform that's listed, the Faro, Cobalt, Shining, Hexagon structured light scanner. Those are the current ones. Some of those are discontinued that are in that list, but really all those are our triggers. They're not really considered plugins. It's just a shortcut to open their software and close it when you're done. So for all intents and purposes, I say that Go has no plugins at all. You import files and work with them and reverse engineer. And then we do have all of the input file types that we're used to in all of our products. We have all of the import file types available. So in our import list, if you've ever used our software in the past, we can bring almost every type of scanner file imaginable between E57, LAS files, ASCII files, every kind of point cloud imaginable, even all of the company specific ones, right? So if there is a file type that a Faro makes, or Hexagon, or any of these companies, GOM, we bring in their file types, their native ones. We've made those forever. We're a leader in the industry. We've been around as long as any of the other scanner companies practically. So we have all the import file types in there, as well as importing generic CAD files, the neutral exchange formats like IGES and STEP. We can import those into all of these products, whether it's Pro, Plus, or Go, right? So then as you move up from Go to Plus, we give you the plugins, all of the plugins, between Live Capture, where you can connect to the portable CMMs or ARMs, and we allow you to scan and probe and all those things inside of Plus and Pro. That's the same. And then the other important thing to talk about when we're talking about inputs and outputs, I'll go ahead and discuss the export options are going to be in Go and Plus. They're going to be the export of step and IGES, SAT, neutral, those sorts of formats. And then the live transfer tool is what we have available as well. So you can live transfer to CAD in Go Plus or Pro. This is a huge piece of functionality that we're including at all the different levels. So I anticipate the main export option for all of these products, like it is every single day with our products, is the fact that you can live transfer to the different CAD packages that we have available. So when you live transfer, you can transfer to SolidWorks, Creo, Inventor, NX, and AutoCAD. Those are the supported live transfer tools, right? And what limits live transfer is just what the extraction tools of Go, Plus, and Pro are, and how much you can model and how many modeling tools you have in each one, which we'll break down here later. So just as a quick summary here, no plugins, plugins on the input side. Import, you can import all the file types into all of them. Exporting, generic export. Go and Plus have the neutral formats where you can export step and IGES. Pro actually has a little bit more. You can export parasolid, neutral, and all those extra formats that we actually have to pay a little money on the translator side to do. Some of them we don't have to pay for as we're on the Parasolid kernel, but just you get the idea that you can save all the neutral formats that are the premium ones, and then Plus and Go save step and IGES. And then of course live transfer is a huge piece of functionality that we're including in all of these, which we are the only product on the market that offers the level of integration of live transfer to all 4 of those CAD packages, and the amount of functionality that's in that is huge, and it's very beneficial where you can have your CAD package up and send over whatever you have extracted inside of our software into those CAD packages. So let's move on and break down some more of the specific categories. We'll just start function by function with point clouds. So under the point cloud section, we have the ability, as you see with Go, to bring in point clouds, obviously importing them all in as we broke down on the last slide. You can triangulate, merge, combine the point clouds together, filter noise, and sample. So you have a very essential tool set there. It's all the necessities to get where you want to go. And then Plus has the same set. It's really hard to slice and dice these down, but the idea here is we give you point cloud tools to get in here, merge them together, and get onto the Polygons workflow. And of course, Pro, we add those scan processes that work on point clouds as well as polys. We have the Mesh Buildup Wizard, which is a really neat workflow tool to automate walking through the steps that you take with almost every project, where you take the scans, you put them together, you merge them, and it walks you through a predefined workflow where it gives you some options there. And then you got a normal wizard there, so if you need to recalculate normals and work with those. The smoothing tools are in Pro, offsetting points. A lot of people probably don't even know that tool exists. Separating a point cloud, you can. Many people don't realize that there's a really neat tool where you can take a massive point cloud and chunk it out into separate point clouds. That's what the separate point cloud tool is. Convert to point cloud, where you can take a CAD object and convert it back to a point cloud to create data. And then one really neat tool, which is throughout a few parts of our software, you'll notice as we go along, is the unroll. So unroll is taking a cylindrical object about an axis and flattening it down. So it has to be a cylindrical, like a tire, different things about an axis, and unrolling that. So you can do that with point clouds here. So those are the tools that Pro has that Plus and Go in the point cloud section do not have. Now let's move over to the polygons. This is a little more tiered in this area. So you see down below, you do have the healing wizard with Go, your same merge combine, fill holes. Important things to note, you have global remesh. That is your key smoothing. Global remesh is a real elaborate tool that does hole filling and smoothing and sampling and all kinds of things all in one. That's your main tool like that in the polygons tab that you're going to get. And then you, of course, have decimate, smooth, split, offset, those sort of things. Essentially, you got the bare bones. You got enough to get work done. These are the things that everybody uses all the time. And then if you move up to plus, some of the key ones is the fact that you have D feature, edit boundaries, trimming, and then converting back to a mesh from a CAD body is a neat tool that we use all the time, but that's in there. So those are some of the things that you have that are useful to understand here. And then if you move on to Pro, you have remove markers, enhance shape, subdivide, all those sort of things. Sewing boundary stick, and you get the idea here. I'm just highlighting them. Average meshes is a key one that's really neat. That's a premium feature that I always like to point out, where you can take multiple meshes on multiple scans of the same object and average them together and then reverse engineer it, which is a really neat workflow utilized by a lot of industries, but the turbine blade industry and power gen, that sort of thing, they love that tool over there. So that is a key differentiator with Pro. So that kind of rounds out the polygons. Now, if we jump over to regions, this is a little more simple. Go and Plus have the ability to create regions manually. So if I select part of a polygon, and then I come over here and I hit insert, I can create a region. I could split it or I can merge it with others. Same thing for Plus, same functionality there. With Pro, you get the auto segment where it'll run through the entire mesh and create them automatically and classify them. And then, of course, we have all those other tools like resegment, enlarge, shrink, separate, and so on. So pretty self-explanatory there. Alignment. Go and Plus have the ability to align between scan data. I like to call that scan registration. And then align to the world is the way I categorize these interactive alignment and transform data. So this is aligning scans to each other. This is aligning scans to a world coordinate system. If I simplify it, that's the way I like to categorize them to kind of make the language a little more clear as to what's going on. But they have the same tool set here. Pro, you have the target and sphere registration and the best fit and quick fit. One interesting one that I use on occasion that's really neat with Pro is the Align Wizard. So if you have a very geometric part, it'll look at the entire shape of the part, identify areas that you might want to align it, and put coordinate systems all over the part and give you a selection, and you can click on it and select what coordinate system that you want, and it will just auto align based on you just selecting, hey, align it here. That Align Wizard is really neat. Again, highlighting some often overlooked tools inside of the Pro portfolio. So if we go down to Sketch and Mesh Sketch, so I combine these two categories together because they are essentially the same. Whether you're doing a sketch or a mesh sketch, you have the same sketching functionality in Sketch and Mesh Sketch of Go and Sketch and Mesh Sketch of Plus. And so on, right? So you see here in Go, we have the essentials where you're creating lines, arcs, slots, all of that stuff. You're trimming them together. You have the ability to mirror and linear pattern, circular pattern. One thing that is missing here that I'll point out is it doesn't have pattern along curve in that one. Another thing that's not in Go or Plus is the auto sketch, which is really interesting tool, right? That'll allow you to automatically sketch profiles, which is really neat. I'm just highlighting some of the distinctions. We have a documentation for all of what I'm presenting today, so if you want to go through the nitty gritty as well, I'm kind of just highlighting some of the more important things here in a detailed manner. Merge of splines there is in plus, and then the ability to edit the constraints and coincident constraints here we've added that, so that helps you repair sketches and stuff if you're familiar with it. And then you see rebuilding of splines, um, creating sketch text, inserting as creating a sketch from an imported file like a 2D from another software is in Pro. And then this is convert entities is in all of them, but the way we do convert entities for silhouettes is a separate tool. So if you're going to silhouette a convert entities, then that is there. I know some CADs actually that is all in one tool. But so Mesh Sketch and Sketch have the same tool sets regardless of whether you're doing a Mesh Sketch or Sketch. Now, if we go into 3D Sketch, I will point out that this is where it's a little weird here. It's not the same tools for 3D Sketch and 3D Mesh Sketch. So what you see here is Go does not have 3D Mesh Sketch. They only have 3D Sketch only. So what does that mean for you? When you come in to do a 3D sketch and you do a spline or a section or a convert entities, not a convert entities, but a spline or a section, when you're drawing that spline on the polygon, the interpolation, those intermediate points don't snap to the mesh. It's wherever you click on the mesh, it's going to snap to the mesh, but it's not going to interpolate across the surface of the mesh. And that is the major difference here. So we only have 3D Sketch only here. Now, if you come up to Plus, you get 3D Sketch and 3D Mesh Sketch. So when you draw a spline in a 3D Mesh Sketch, it will interpolate across the surface of the polygon. And then you actually get these other tools as well, offset, mirror, and all the trimming and rebuilding functionality. And then if you go to Pro, you also get the boundary, trace feature line, and you'll see all these other tools as well. I'll break down this one here in a minute when we get into the auto surface stuff. So that's 3D Sketch, 3D Mesh Sketch. Just to be clear, Go does not have 3D Mesh Sketch, only 3D Sketch. And that's what this slide shows. I made a separate slide for it, but this is the idea here that highlight that for everyone to see. Now we get into the most confusing of all of them, right, is all the modeling tools. So breakdown of the features based on modeling. So you'll notice that you have the extrude, revolve, loft, sweep primitives for surface and solid. One key thing that you get inside of Go is mesh fit. And then, of course, you can fit all of your own reference geometry. And then as far as the editing and secondary operations, the cutting and Boolean, fillet, chamfer, and reversing of the normals of a surface, those are all here. So this is what you get. It's very basic modeling tools. And then you can cut and Boolean with them, right? In my opinion, the way I like to categorize Go is I would say Go, while we do have modeling tools here, is more of an extraction tool. So I will slice my sketches, whether they're 3D or 2D, mesh or not. I will extract some extrudes, extract some mesh fits, and then send it over to CAD to create an elaborate model where I have a tool set that I can model everything, right? Now, Plus adds more modeling tools. Distinct differences are that it has the surface modeling and editing tools. Yes, and I can extrude a surface, but I don't have the ability to trim it with another surface, extend it, all of these other things that are inside of Plus. And then I add some of the direct modeling functionality where I can transform bodies and delete faces, and I can mirror. That is another distinction here, is there's no mirror inside of Go. So mirror is in Plus. Now, if you go up to Pro, obviously we add the wizards, so you can extract these features automatically. You have the ability to create helix 3D curves, spiral, and 3D polyline curves. You can extract those too, and then you have some other things. You have the rest of the direct modeling, so delete face and all of those split face, all of those fancier modeling tools are in there. So those are some distinctions there. But again, the way I like to position these three, more extraction, basic modeling, advanced modeling is where I would go with positioning to customers. I'm not going to promote that Go can just model final solutions inside of that platform. What I would see it as the biggest benefit to Go is the ability to bring in scan data, extract what I need, and just get it over to CAD. That's what I see as the big benefit there. And then Plus has more of those modeling tools, so you can create basic deliverables inside of the mid. But that's my opinion. At this company, you'll find other people that have slightly different opinions here about how those stack up. Those are just, again, me. As far as exact surfacing, we have auto surfacing in all of them. So Go and Plus are the same. And then, of course, Pro has that ability to do like assisted surfacing where you can walk through, create a patch network, and it's like a semi-automatic auto surfacing where you can control some of these things throughout the process. So in Pro, that's what you have, that ability to create auto surface or take the manual path if you want to. And another little distinction to make before we move on exact surfacing is, in my opinion, a popular alternative to exact surfacing inside of Design X is in Pro, we have an add-ins menu in the menu button. And if you go in there, there is a thing called Legacy Boundary Fit, which is an alternative to doing exact surfacing. That also is in Pro, not in Plus and Go. So you don't have that add-ins menu in order to do Legacy Boundary Fit. So that's another little distinction that I wanted to put in there. Now, finally, before we move on, these prices are just general prices. I am not quoting you. This is just to give you an idea of the price ranges for the product lines. You need to talk to your local market, your local distributor, so on and so forth, to make sure that you understand what the price is. But in general, what we're saying is Go is around 5K, Plus is around 12K, DX Pro is around 21. And then, of course, those are your maintenance for the second year. And then we also offer subscription options for these products as well. So Go starts at around 2K, Plus is around 4K, and Pro is around 7K subscription, which is yearly. So I just wanted to give you an idea of the price ranges. And I'm not officially quoting anyone here. You have to talk to your local salesperson, representative, partner, all of those things to get a official quote. But I wanted to at least give you that idea so you know the numbers that we're talking about and what we mean when we say Go, Plus, and Pro. So thank you for taking the time to walk through the differences, from Greg's perspective of DX Go, Plus, and Pro, And all of these opinions are my own. Not always are they shared by everyone within the company, but I just wanted to give my take on these and just help people out. We're getting lots of questions right out of the gate because there's lots of excitement about DX and the product line. And this can just be used as a resource to help people sort out what product is useful for them from a technical application uh, perspective, and then even a price perspective because you get an idea how much they are. So thank you for your time. I hope this was helpful for you. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to your local Geomagic representative.